Last year I called the JBL Live Pro 2s the AirPod killers. So with a similar feature set and a cheaper price tag, are the Soundcore Liberty 4 NC by Anker the new AirPod killers? I've been using it for a month and I'd love to tell you if that's the case. So, let's talk tech. I'm Agent with Ardently Tech. We're here to help you discover and understand tech that makes your life easier. And the Soundcore Liberty 4 NC have some features that can do that for you. Starting with the 50 hours of battery life, you have 10 hours in a single charge and 50 hours with the case. They have 11mm drivers that deliver some really great sound quality. Bluetooth 5.3, adaptive ANC 2.0, which is their active noise cancellation, which is supposed to reduce noise up to 98.5%. It has both wireless charging and fast charging capabilities. 10 minutes of fast charging will get you 4 hours of listening time, which is really handy. They also have transparency mode and the ability to connect to the Soundcore app where you can customize your settings. You also do have the ability to connect one earbud at a time, doesn't matter which one, left or right. It has 6 mics with AI algorithm, which I guess is supposed to make the voice a little bit more clear. And my favorite feature, which I believe should be on every earbud and every headphone that we buy nowadays, is multi-point connection, which is simply the ability to connect to 2 devices at the same time and switch between those 2 without having to disconnect and reconnect. They come in black, white, light blue, dark blue, pink, and they retail at $99. I tried both the light blue and the white, and they both are really nice, though I prefer the white ones a little bit more. So with that feature set at $99 is pretty impressive, but are they AirPod killers? I'm not sure I can say that about these the same way I could say about the JBL Live Pro 2s. When I say beating AirPods, I don't mean the AirPod Pros, I'm talking about like AirPods 2nd generation. So before I go into that, let's talk about what I did enjoy about these earbuds, and the first thing I want to mention is the sound quality. The sound quality is not something I critique to an extreme standard like some people do, but for me, these did sound great. They didn't sound muddy, they didn't sound unclear, the audio was very consistent, but it did feel like it lacked a little bit of bass. When I compared it to both the JBL Live Pro 2s and the AirPod Pros, these just kind of felt flat when it came to the bass, even when I was using the bass booster setting in the EQ settings. So if you're looking for a bass heavy earbud or a bass heavy sound, then these might not be the ones for you, but regardless of that, it still delivered some overall good sounding audio. Next, the transparency in ANC. The transparency was just good. It wasn't like great, it's not gonna blow you out of the water, but it does its job. So don't compare it to $250 earbuds, but comparing it to the JBL Live Pro 2s, like I said, it's pretty comparable. As for the adaptive noise cancellation, it was really good. It was very comparable to the JBL Live Pro 2s. I will say that the JBL Live Pro 2s were a little bit better, but that might have to do with the foam tips that I have on the Live Pro 2s. That said, it does not compare to higher standard active noise cancellation like the JBL Bose Quiet Comforts or the AirPod Pros, but these were good. Again, passable, not something that's going to completely blow you out of the water. And the 98.5% was oddly specific amount of noise reduction, but I kind of get it. If you watch my JBL Live Pro 2 review, you know that I'm a big fan of multi-point connection, and that is still the case. Having multi-point connection on these earbuds is something that is really good and something that I think needs to be in every earbud that we have. Again, multi-point connection is just the ability to connect to 2 devices at the same time and switch simultaneously without having to disconnect and reconnect. So having the ability to pause something on my iPhone and then listen to something on my iPad without having to go to settings and connecting and disconnecting, all that jazz, is really helpful, especially if you have multiple devices. And that's one thing that AirPods have over a lot of its competitors, especially if you're using it on Apple devices. You can switch seamlessly between them, and that is just top tier engineering. That's why I'm a big fan of it. It just makes your life so much easier, so much simpler, especially if you can connect it. I just wish you can do more than just 2 devices, but I will take it for now. The next thing I love about the Soundcore Liberty 4 NC is this button on the case. It has this nice little button where you're able to just, open it and close it as you need. It has this light on the button that indicates the battery levels, which is really nice and handy. Half of this channel is just me dropping my earbuds. It reminds me of the JBL Endurance Peak 2, that case that had the button and the light indicator as well. But it is a nice little feature. I like having that button. I don't know why, but I just do. Next thing I love is the connectivity to the app. The app is very feature rich. It has a ton of great features for you to be able to customize the amount of sound you want to let into the transparency mode or the active noise cancellation. You can also toggle off a bunch of settings if you don't want it, like auto play and pause. If you don't want your earbuds to stop playing when you take off an earbud, They also have toggles for gaming mode, which I guess will lower the lag between the sound that you're hearing and what's happening on the screen, so that's nice. And then it also has a toggle for sound leak compensation. I'm not really sure what that does, but I guess it somehow prevents sound leak, or at least tries to compensate for it. Kind of self-explanatory, but I just haven't tried it myself. You also can toggle off and on the wind noise reduction feature. If you have sensitive hearing, you can lower the maximum volume so you're not blowing your eardrums out every time you accidentally raise the volume all the way up. You can change the touch controls to like a single tap, a double tap, a triple tap, and a hold, and that can be customized for each earbud, which is really nice. It really feels like a truly customizable experience, because not only can you customize your equalizer settings, you can also customize when you want these to auto power off. I don't think I've ever seen that in an app setting before, so really cool. But overall, the best thing about these is the price. The $99 price tag is really great because when it's on sale, it can go down to 50 bucks, which for something that has very comparable feature sets to something that I just claimed as AirPod killers last year, I don't know, that at least is worth considering these earbuds for. Even if it's just a backup or a beater that you have laying around in case you forget your AirPods or your more expensive earbuds. But with that $99 price tag, it does come with some flaws, and I guess makes the $99 price tag make sense. But before I do that, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it so far, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And if you're considering getting these earbuds, use our affiliate links down in the description below. You help support our channel by doing so, and the more you do that, the more often we can do videos like this. So what are the things I don't like? First and foremost is the case. I know I mentioned it being one of my favorites earlier, but the bulkiness of this case is actually pretty annoying. It's a lot thicker than the JBL Live Pro 2s, as you can see. It's bigger. It is, I mean, I guess it's not so much thicker, but it's definitely much more noticeable because of how tall it is. The bigger case and how chunky it is, it just felt noticeable. Not a deal breaker, but something to note. And while we're talking about fit and form, the earbud itself is just kind of large as well. It's bigger than the Live Pro 2s and the AirPod Pros. It's just thicker. It's just overall, it takes a lot more space. And when you put them in your ear, they just are very noticeable, and it's not a bad thing to be noticeable, just like AirPod Pros and AirPods in general are pretty noticeable in your ear, but these are just, I guess, just noticeable in the wrong sense. And like I mentioned earlier, they do fall out of my ear often. That just might be my ear, but even when I change the tips, nothing really seemed to work. And I don't know if it's just the shape of the earbud itself, or maybe it's the finish, the glossy finish of the earbud. They fell out of my ear more than the norm from earbuds that I review. That is something, again, to note if you buy them. One of the two final things that I didn't like about these earbuds was actually that spatial audio, or the 360 sound. It has that as a feature, but when I turned it on, it took me a while to realize, but I was like, what the heck is that echo I'm listening to? And it was the surround sound thing that they had going on. You know, I think it was trying to be like spatial audio on the AirPod Pros, but it just didn't do it. It just didn't do it. Like, regardless if you use it or not, it just wasn't for me. I highly recommend not using it. And the last thing, I didn't get to experience myself, but you can experience and let me know what you think. But the sound quality of the mics was just, every time I used it on my phone calls, whoever was on the phone just had a harder time hearing me than they normally do. So I'm going to record myself using these on the microphone, and you tell me if they sound good or don't. So this is a test on the microphones. How do they sound? Do they sound good, or do they sound a little choppy? See, one earbud right now, like I mentioned, is falling out of my ear as I talk, and I have to constantly readjust. It's a little bit of annoying, but let me know about the microphones. Do they sound good, or are they just trash? Here's how they sound in a loud environment. I have some restaurant noise playing in the background. Let me know. Is it a little distracting? Can you hear me at all? So my overall rating for this is an 8 out of 10. They're not anything near the Live Pro 2s, but they are good for the price tag. And if you can get them on sale for $50 or wherever under $100, these are going to be a really good buy. They have some decent features and some really good audio quality that's going to be good for almost everybody. So for a backup pair of headphones, or just a daily pair, if you're on a budget, this is going to be something that can and will suffice. If you have any questions about the Soundcore Liberty 4 and C, let me know in the comments below. I'll happily answer as much as I can. But if you want to consider any other earbuds, check out the JBL Live Pro 2 review here, or watch any of our other earbuds review right here. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.